My name is Aurelia. I was at the Coronet in December 2019 with a show called Bells and Spells. I'm going to try and talk a little bit about the work, about our experience at the Coronet, and about us a little bit too, which I'm going to attempt now. It's going to be a challenge. My partner on stage, who's been in all the shows, is Jamie Martinez. He, at the very beginning of the first show, Aurelia's Oratorio started as a series of acts at the beginning. And I remember during the process, Vicky saying, I see someone like Jamie Martinez, just because when they toured Imaginary Circus, a lot of the time they would tour in venues where David Parsons Dance Company would also appear, and so they became friends with them. And so she kept on mentioning his name, and I looked him up on the internet, and he had supposedly retired. So we didn't dare get in touch at the time. But then I presented a few of the acts in the Tagalidi Circus in Hamburg. And when I got to Hamburg, Lisa Joby, who's an aerialist and dancer and director, was doing an aerial act. And she was talking about her partner who was about to arrive. And she said, Jamie Martinez is arriving tomorrow and we need to rehearse. And suddenly, it occurred to me that it may be the same Jamie Martinez. So Vicky got in touch with him, and even though he had retired, or had decided to fully retire after his work with Lisa, we convinced him to come and rehearse with us. What I was going to tell you, it really works because we're all committed to making it fly off to some extent, and also because the material is great. I remember when we were doing the Oratorio, so the first act we worked on was this chest of drawers, and my first act with my parents when I was 3 years old was a box. I was in a box and I just had to appear, and it was a wooden box. And so cut to so many years later when we started rehearsing the Oratorio, and I found myself in the chest of drawers, and Vicky was in front of it looking, and we were just, looking for different figures in it. This distinct feeling of not only déjà vu, but also of having reached home, basically. I was back home. And so that was the first number we worked on. And the second number was a woman with I had a little thing here that I opened, and there would be a train that would go through my midriff. And the first time she mentioned it, I was skeptical, secretly skeptical. It has a current that is so loaded with stories and drama and or not drama, but just like it's very evocative in a strange way. And to tell you the truth, the first show we toured for close to 8 years, the second show toured for 7 years, and this one has been touring for 2 years, and I've never felt as though I've gone to the bottom of any of them, just because they're so rich in stories. And that's why it's really important not to dictate one that would be too defined, because it lives out of this mystery a little bit, and out of this contradiction. I've been asked to talk a little bit about my background. So my parents are Victoria Thierrée Chaplin and Jean-Baptiste Thierrée. They were the precursors of Nouveau Cirque. They are the creators of Imaginary Circus, le Cirque Imaginaire, and the Invisible Circus, the Cirque Invisible. They were the first ones to invent a style that was completely unique and their own, and to reinvent circus in a way. The show that my brother and I grew up in was the Imaginary Circus, and in London it all started at Riverside Studios when it was run by David Gothard. We'd parked the caravan by the theatre, and I remember that the dressing room, you had to go outside and run along the river to the other side of the theatre in order to get backstage once the show had started. Eliade. We actually have a saying that the minute you understand how a show works, you have to move on to the next, which in my experience has never happened. Vicky keeps on adding to the show every single time she sees it, and is continuously working on new numbers and new ideas. So hopefully we'll see you soon.